Hey guys, welcome to Trader's Edge Crypto. I'm your host, Lawton Ho, and I'm joined by Benjamin Poole. And
Drew Dosek. What's up, fellas?
what's going on, everybody? Hope you guys had an amazing weekend. What do you guys want to say about the crypto markets overall? Anything exciting happened this weekend?
Nothing. Oh, I'm just kidding. Yeah, go ahead, Drew.
Hey, huge move on Ethereum over the weekend, really pushing stocks higher. Ethereum cracking that $4,000 price point, which brings me into a potential trade opportunity setup. So let's look at them right now. And let me get my screen shared. Just 1 second. And there we go. So right now on Ethereum, I am interested in selling short. If we get to $4,305 here on the futures for Blofin, I do already have an order out for 1/10 of a position short, $4,305. The other, and you can see here too, I'll flip over to Trading View real quick. You can see here this move up on Ethereum, beautiful move up that we're seeing here. That's a 5-minute chart. Let me show you the daily. Look on the daily, we've got an inclining trend line right here where price, and we've already accomplished this measured move, so I'll get rid of that. But price basically came to a screeching halt right here on this trend line and has since put in some consolidation. If this stays here for several days, we'll likely start moving higher on Ethereum. But in the near term, we do have a shortable opportunity. As you see here, this inclining trend line right here has been hit now a couple times. Price is starting to push back up on that. So let me flip back over to Blofin. As I said, $4,300. 305 is where I'm sitting. Then I have another one on LDO.
What's your position size?
This 1/10 position size short. And LDO, I have a nice retrace occurring right now. Price action is pushing up higher. I've got a short position, 1/10 of the portfolio at $1.55.05. $1.55.05, waiting for price action to get up into that level. And for LDO, LDO, a beautiful retrace too, getting a bounce off this 50% daily retrace currently that you see here on the chart. Beautiful push up higher. Look at these days, just accelerated straight up on LDO. So beautiful move there.
Is that with any leverage?
It is. Both of which I'm using 5 times leverage. And it looks like the Ethereum did just get filled, guys. So flip over to Ethereum. Looks like, oh, actually, no, wait, not filled yet. Not filled yet.
Wow, that was so close, though. It looked like it.
My LDAO did get filled. There we go. That was the one that was filled. There we go. So LDAO was filled, $1.55, 55.05 cents. Now price is coming down from that. We'll go ahead and pull the take profits down here to $1.52.41 cents. So we got some action already, folks.
Again, what was your price?
Waiting on Ethereum to get hit. Ethereum still hasn't been filled yet.
What was your entry price on this?
$1.55.05 cents. You can see it right there on the right-hand side of the screen in red. It's pretty hard.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, these not very conducive to sharing screens, but it's still, we do what we can.
Yep. So far, great pullback that we're seeing here on LDO. Let's see if we can't get a little bit more pullback on this. Now, if I flip over to Trading View, we can see this on the 10-minute chart. So far, I've gotten a bounce right back up off this 151.9. Looking for price to pull down a little bit more, retest that area. As you see here, my take profits at 152.41.
Yeah, right. And just again, guys, thank you to Blofin for sponsoring us. If you want to trade like us and be able to short just like Drew's doing on that same platform, that's Blofin. If you want to learn a little bit more about them, you can go to the verifiedinvesting.com website, scroll to the very bottom under our sponsors and check out Blofin right there. Sign up using our code for some exclusive benefits.
So I'm also taking a look at ZORA USD. So let me go ahead and remove Drew. All right, so here's what I'm looking at. So you've got this possible shoulder, head, shoulder. So you got a head and shoulders pattern forming. So what I'm looking for is maybe a little bit more of a push up. I would like it to pierce 14,311 just to kind of shake out all the stop losses. And then as soon as that happens, we should get a pretty sizable pullback off of this level. So 14,300 pierce of that. So we're looking at 1440, and where I would be interested in taking a short position. I'm going to go ahead and add text right here, 14400. Let's go ahead and put the decimal point, 0. So I would be looking to enter a short on ZORA 1440. 1440. That's how many minutes you have in a day. So figure that's a good starting point. All right. Other than that, Bitcoin was having a nice run earlier in the weekend. Never quite retested the all-time high at 123,298 or 289. Nice surge.
Let me flip over real quick. Sorry, Ben. Let me flip over real quick. I'm moving my stop loss right here just above current price at $1.54.52. You can see my stop loss is right here, right above current price. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep lowering it down. Currently $20 in the money. This thing can flip around. Oh, boom. I was already filled, guys. Just filled. So just got filled. Order history. There we go. All right. We got 1.45% on that with Lido. LDO. Congratulations to everybody.
Good job,
Ben. Sorry to interrupt there.
Oh, it's just
don't apologize.
Right.
You took a W. Good job.
That's right. Ethereum has been filled, guys. So we're about $4 out of the money at the moment. I'm going to add, and Ben can go over his next levels, but I'm going to calculate and add to this just a moment. Let me flip it back over to Ben.
Hold on. What's your price on Ethereum?
Ethereum entry was $4,305. $4,305.
4,305.
Yep, 4,305.
1/10.
1/10.
5x
1/10
leverage.
position. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are these day trades? Yes, they are day trades. Crypto day trades.
Yep.
All right. So what I was mentioning is Bitcoin had this nice run up. It looked like it was going to retest the all-time highs. It's been skating along this upsloping trend line for quite a while now. Actually, I'm going to readjust this, give it a little bit better of a trend line. So you've got the first hit, second hit, third hit. I think I've gone over this several times, right? So what we're waiting for is a break of this upsloping trend line, more confirmation. As soon as you can get a break of this upsloping trend line, that would trigger more of the bears on board. Could start triggering the exit of some of the bulls to continually sell this thing off. And then a lot of the altcoins are going to continue lower. We're having a good sell-off today in the altcoin markets. If we start recapturing the all-time highs and start pushing up, because right now we've got to respect this this upsloping trend line. You've had a lot of bullish sentiment in Bitcoin, which is what's propelling it higher. And so until that happens, if we recapture the all-time high on Bitcoin, then this could signal more of a movement into a lot of the altcoins and could bring the Bitcoin dominant down significantly. I do have a beautiful upsloping parallel channel on the Bitcoin dominance chart. So let me go ahead and switch to logarithmic. So here's the logarithmic chart. It gives you a little bit more of an idea of the overall movement based on the percentages. So you've got this pivot high that connects. You got these. Here's where you've had support on the Bitcoin dominance chart. As it went up, hit the top. So this is where you basically draw your upsloping parallel channel. Connects all the way to this pivot high at 64%. And now we just retested the lower end. So one of the things that's significant for me with this Bitcoin dominance chart is the fact that it's such a long-term upsloping parallel channel. So it's going to be hard for Bitcoin to create, to recapture that all-time high and continue to push, because that would break this level of support. And it goes back to 2023. So the longer term a trend line goes, the more power it has. So what I'm anticipating now is, now that we hit the lower end of the upsloping parallel channel, I anticipate a move back up to about 64 or 64 and a half on the Bitcoin dominance chart. So some of these altcoins can start falling down, Bitcoin kind of stabilize. And then as soon as we can get a break of that upsloping parallel channel, then that should trigger an altcoin season. And then a lot of these people who are waiting on the sidelines are going to pile into all these altcoins. So just something to keep in mind, something to look for in not only Bitcoin recapturing that all-time high, Bitcoin dominance heading high before an eventual flush out of Bitcoin dominance. But until then, though, same with the respecting of the upsloping trend line on Bitcoin, we have to respect this upsloping parallel channel. So there's no guarantees that we're going to have a rollover or anything like that in the Bitcoin dominance chart yet. So just something I'm kind of keeping an eye on. It's a pretty interesting chart.
If you guys are interested in sharing your questions, you can do so exclusively on the verifiedinvesting.com website. You can go visit verifiedinvesting.com, expand us, and click on watch and ask in the top right corner, and you can submit your questions there. We haven't gotten to any questions yet just because we're taking 2 trades so far, and Ben is explaining his Bitcoin dominance charts. But how's your trade going, Drew?
Hey, not too bad. Just $3 out of the money right there. You see 360. I do have an ad level up here to update you guys. $4,347.45. That's going to be the ad level. You can see it right here on the screen. $4,347.45. And I will do another 1.2 coins there of Ethereum, which equates out to 1/10 position in my portfolio with 5 times leverage. Take profit is going to be at $42.70 Again, that's $4,270.49. That's where I'm leaving it for now. These levels can change depending upon what price action develops from where we're currently at.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah, so nice to have a couple trades, guys. You know, that's always very appreciated.
Great job. It's been a minute. Is
Yeah,
there anything
really.
you want to talk about, Ben, potentially trading or?
Yeah, no, I was going to mention ZORA is not doing a whole lot. It's just kind of chopping along this upsloping trend line. Still has that head and shoulders. This hasn't broken this upsloping trend line, so I'm not really interested quite yet in shorting it, but it's getting close to a short level. Now, if I did end up getting in this, I could enter it early and then just adding at 1440. So I'm contemplating whether I'm going to do that. I'm not in there yet. I'm not filled on a short. This would be a 10% of our portfolio with 3x leverage. Just knowing that it could go potentially higher by about 3%. I do think that it will eventually take out this high, get the stop outs, and then reverse course. I mean, if you look at the daily chart on ZORA, it's all-time highs, at least on this chart. So let's try to see if we can get to the Binance. Yeah, same. Nothing really. Sometimes you go to like MXC, and this shows you kind of similar price action. So I like to check different charts to see if I can get different price action or see if I can get an extended chart. But in this case, nope, they're all the same.
Cool. Then how about a couple of questions, you guys mind?
Yeah, let's go. Let's fire them off.
Let's do it.
All right. Isaac says best swing trade Ethereum. Best price swing trade Ethereum.
All right. Well, let's look at the chart. On the
swing trade. Are you looking? Well, it's a swing trade, so I'm guessing that you're either going long or short because we're looking for like a 10 to 20% pullback or a bounce, depending on what your thought process is. So Drew,
Yeah.
Drew's the
Exactly.
Ethereum guy. How much did you take? 140% on your last half of your
Ethereum?
Ethereum trade? Yeah.
Yes, I did. 153% on the
Oh, that's
Ethereum
it?
trade. So you see here, I got the daily chart of Ethereum visible here. Now over this last weekend, we had an excelled push from here. This was Thursday the 7th, Friday the 8th. We started pushing up into $4,000 and then accelerated up here to 4,336. If I scroll back out on the chart, you can see this break. Now we have a confirmed break here. That's a significant break now from a pivot from back from our all-time highs. So what I would be doing if I were an investor that was not in Ethereum and interested in getting into Ethereum, I would likely sit back and be very patient and wait for price to come back down to this declining trend line. That's right around $3,500 on Ethereum. If you want to be aggressive, you can then enter, small portions right around 4,000. But I believe 4,000 will be broken back down. Even though we had this great push higher and we almost got to 4,000 right here towards the end of July, just it didn't have it happen. That area will also likely provide some support when price comes back down into it. So that could be an area to buy, just to pierce a 4,000, 3,900. But keep in mind, whenever we have a move up like this, you can just look at the charts. Here's the monthly chart. Notice the flow of Ethereum, right? Ups and downs, ups and downs. And right now we're at the period of making a big up move. Eventually it will start curling back over. So you have to make a plan for when, if you were to get in up here near 4,000 or 3,900, where are you going to add? That's what I would do if I were trying to leg into the position and then average down over time. Take those key levels that I had just gone over, whether it's 4,000, 3,900, then this declining trend line, roughly 3,500. Then you have to be looking down at support right around $3,000. So there's several different support levels. It all depends on how you want to play it. But I've just laid out basically options there for different entry levels. Once they become available and if they get hit, there's no guarantee these support levels are going to get hit. But from what I see on the charts, a move up of this nature will likely have some sort of profit taking in pullbacks. And I would expect price for Ethereum to come back down under $4,000, giving you the chance to start entering in and legging in, inching into that position.
Cool.
What point would you short it, Drew? Would you ever go short Ethereum? I mean, other than obviously right now.
Yeah. As far as like a swing short, here, let's see. I mean, we're basically right. We're almost right there to the point where you'd want to short it. I likely would, if we had continued push. The one thing that's holding me up for a swing short is that we put this minor consolidation in right here, right under 4,000. If we had just accelerated straight up without this couple week pause and just right into this level, then yes, I think that almost 90% chance that we're pulling right back down to 3,500. Since we had this consolidation, that may catch some price and limit the amount of payout a short would have. So I'd have to wait to go higher, likely have to have a pierce of the all-time highs, maybe even around the $5,000 level. But then again, guys, just how I described this, we need to see a move straight up into 5,000 without any of this going on, say here around 44, 46, 48. I would want it to see it straight move into 5,000, and then I could short it and take a profit right around 4,200, 4,150 in that range. Does that all make sense, guys? Or
makes
sense
to
to me. Mazin says, how do you verify momentum early, and also how do you detect a fake out? Ben, you want to answer that?
It's okay. So you identify momentum by a continuation move. So oftentimes what happens, you recapture all-time highs, let's say Bitcoin. You can get a continued move higher. What you're wanting to wait for is, and this is on the weekly time frame, price consolidation without a major pullback. Every once in a while, you can get a fake out where you have this big push higher, and then you have this nice pullback. So it's identifying a fake out or a true breakout. it's kind of difficult. It's really after the fact that you get to see what the cause of it was, or what the potential ramifications of a potential fake out are. So it's kind of tough. You got to really look at what's going on in the overall chart. So for example, here is here's an upsloping trend line. Let's see about connecting here. So that doesn't connect anything. So we know we're in an uptrend here. Let's see if there's any additional resistance levels. Okay, so you got these two support levels at least. So until this breaks to the downside, you know that you're in an uptrend. And so it favors more of a move higher, right? So what Drew was just explaining, let's go to Ethereum. Drew was mentioning that on the daily time frame, there was price consolidation. And so if you get a push higher and you get a move to the upside with continuation, then that could trigger more of the bulls on board, and that could push it up as well. So it's really all dependent on support and resistance levels. It's really dependent on what the overall chart is telling you. So right now you've got this beautiful upsloping trend line. Let's get rid of a lot of these trend lines. So here you've got this push higher. Now you could pull back to this $3,600 level, and that would just be a run-of-the-mill pullback. But really, you're just looking for continuation. And sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes it does, right? So you're looking for a reversal candle of some sort to trigger or to let you know, hey, that was a fake out. In this case, in Ethereum, you haven't had that. And so right now, we're still in bullish sentiment for Ethereum.
Yeah. Yep. It's well put.
Yep. Okay, next question. Keegan says, it looks like Chainlink broke a long-term declining trend line. What are your thoughts on if the bias is to the upside now?
All right, let's take a look. Chainlink, huh? Let's see. Chain gains. You know what? I don't think I have any. Is that Chain USDT?
No, it's Link, Link USDT.
There we go. Yeah, Chain.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So basically, believe it or not, we still got some room to go on Chainlink. If you see, is it on my screen? Yep. I've got a potential major move on this all the way up here, $24.21. So this is just completing that potential move that I see here on the chart. Where that's taken from, this is a massive inverse head and shoulders. You can see it's left shoulders here. This is the collective head. And then here's the right shoulder. And that gives a breakout target there, $24.20. So that's where I'm seeing price action likely is going in the near term. Now you can also look at support areas. So just drag this trend line over to the most recent pivot. So you can see here, if you want to micro analyze this potential move, we've got a great breakout above this declining trend line. Price action, whenever it does break out, likes to retrace. But we've got this support here too. So we've got $20.14, $20.10, basically that psychological $20 number. If you're a bull on Link, you want to see price stay above 20 bucks. Because if it stays above 20 bucks, say it retreats, gets support here at these pivots, then it's headed up there to that measured move. But then I would be very cautious. These measured moves don't always get hit. Even if you're in it from down here, it wouldn't be a bad thing to consider taking profit in this range, whether it's at the 22 that we pierced over the last couple of days, all the way up to 23 bucks. It wouldn't be a bad idea to go ahead and take profits. Notice how we had an extended move here, retreated back, and now we're in another extended move. So what happens after an extended move? Just look back on the charts. You see an extended move and a pullback. So we have an extended move, potential pullback either to these pivots or to that trend line. That kind of makes sense, right? Looking at the chart. So even though the chart says it could go higher, you have to be cautious whenever you're investing and take profits when you can. One thing we like to say here in our office is no one went broke taking a profit. And so you don't want to take profits too early if you don't have to. But noticing this huge pattern on the chart, we've got a potential target up here of roughly, what is that, $2.40 higher. But this move already has gone $8.50. So we're only looking for the last little bit to squeeze out of it. So as an investor, be cautious, be smart, take your profits when you can. $22 to $23 is a great place to do so. If you want to be more aggressive, wait for that target to be hit at 24.21, but there's no guarantee the target can be hit there.
Gotcha. Yeah, Iki says, hi, I'm trying out Blofin and shorting for the first time on Ethereum. Received an alert over the weekend, got in. But if I wanted to add to that short position, how I go about it in Blofin, through a new order or modifying existing position, you just add to it. You just put another order in, and it should calculate. You see on the bottom of Drew's screen where it says his like average price. Once you add to it, that average price would change, right, based on how many shares or how much Ethereum you added to that short. Right.
That's correct.
So
yep, and you could just sit and hold it if you like. One of the great things about it too that I like to do sometimes if I'm trading at night is I'll just book in price action. Let's just say hypothetically this is in the money. Then I'd go ahead and put a stop loss, and then I would take out my ad level, which would be right here. So I would just have a stop loss level and potential take profit level. That way I'm booking, so I don't have to worry about any open orders. But yeah, you can definitely do that. That's a great part about trading through Blofin. These markets obviously are open 24/7, so we're going to have to sleep at some point. So put those orders in when you go to sleep, and that way it will safeguard you and protect you so that you don't wake up with a surprise move in the wrong direction for your open position.
Gotcha. John, thank you so much for your comment, man. And thank you for using an anonymous name. We love your engagement. Thank you for giving us your viewership, and we hope you enjoy the show. Next question. Jalen says, hi, guys. Hope you're doing well. I have 2 questions about MOVE and APT. I put some money in both, and I'm a swing trader. So what do you guys think about the charts? So I'm assuming it's a long.
All right, I'll take movement.
Movement and APT.
All right, removing Drew. Oh,
sorry, I was trying to help, but I made it worse.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so here's my chart on MOVE. I'm actually long in this in my swing trade service, slightly out of the money. Overall, I like the chart pattern of MOVE. Although the only issue that I'm seeing in the chart of MOVE is you're having a pretty sizable movement in some of these other altcoins, but movement is not really living up to its name and moving any direction one way or another other than really down. So you've got a couple different trend lines or things to watch for. So for example, you got this low, this huge wide range green bar candle and this low right here at basically 1170. If you start breaking that level, movement is going to go and head lower. After that, you've got this low pivot point right here on movement. And that's sitting at basically 2 cents. So it's got a long way to go and that's like an 80% drop if we get below that that low pivot area that I was mentioning earlier. So what Drew was mentioning, right? You should put your stop out levels, you put your take profits, and if it starts moving in your direction, you can slowly increase that average price, or that you can increase the stop loss so that way you're locking in profits on the way.
Yep.
But on the downside, you're making sure you're minimizing it, because I don't know what leverage you have. I don't know if you guys are, if you're putting your whole portfolio in it because it's one of the weaker ones. But overall, I do like it. It does have some work to do. It has broken this down sloping trend line, so it does favor a move to the upside. But again, lots and lots of work that needs to be done in order for you to get a nice breakout. And just a heads up, you guys, I am short on ZORA. Oh my gosh, 14407 ZORA, 1/10 position, 14407. 1.07. I am short. This is a 1/10 position on this trade.
Beauty.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. It's going higher now, guys. All right. This is a pretty substantial move to the upside. It's kind of nice to see. I'm going to add above 15. So if it pierces 15.07, I will add again.
And Bitcoin, or pardon me, Ethereum is pushing up also. My ad level on that is 43.47 and 45 cents. 43.47, 45. Another 1/10 position.
Did I get that right, Ben? Oh, that's kind of that's kind of big, but did I get that right?
144.07. Yep.
Gotcha.
All right. Good stuff. We got some trading action. This is wonderful.
All right. I have my ad order in. This is a good move on ZORA. Again, my order is 15. My ad is 15007. Right in this area.
Under $7, under $6 away from our ad, folks. On Ethereum.
Giving us a little bit more room. Wow. Crypto markets just decided to rally, huh?
Yeah, nice push up. This is going to be testing, this level is going to be testing the Ethereum recent highs.
Bitcoin's not really doing anything.
And that's where you're going to add as well.
Yeah, that's where Drew's going to add.
Yep. 43.47 and 45 cents. Hasn't quite gotten up there yet. Had a high of 43.43 and 68 cents.
We wanted some market action.
Yes, we
wanted
did.
some opportunities. We're getting it right now.
I love it. Something to go through, something that's great for everybody to watch happen too, as far as price movement. We talk a lot about levels, and it's great to be able to execute them and watch us navigate the trades while we're in it too. Like right now, I'm looking over at Lido for another potential opportunity, and right now it really kind of gave it to us here. Let's see, is this my screen? Yep, it is. Nice little pierce above right here. Didn't quite get to the 160 area. But Lido, if you look at, here, let's see. Oop. There we go. Shoot. 10th. Here it is. All right, there we go. Right there. Price is starting to pierce right above that area and coming right back in. See what I did there too. Strung it through this. Ben was talking earlier and you were asking about a potential bull trap. The bull traps generally don't, they're not noticeable until after the occurrence happens. Oftentimes, if you're lucky enough to spot them, they'll have some great pivots and trend lines on the daily chart. And then you'll see a poke above like this. And in essence, that was a near-term bull trap. Price sold off from that point, has since bounced up there on Lido. But there, I would say there's one on the SPY. It was basically right here, right before our February drop. That was a bull trap. That's the most recognizable, noticeable one as far as pivot highs, making a new high, making a closing above the new high as well. And then a huge kerplunk happened there on the chart. There wasn't any kerplunk.
Okay. All right. Just making sure I heard you correctly.
Yeah, big kerplunk. There wasn't anything signifying it as far as overbought RSI on the daily or weekly. We were in a situation that it was a big bull trap scenario where price made a new high, closed above the new high, looking like price was about to start marching higher, like what we're doing now, and then rug pull action. So they're easier to identify after price has already made the trap. But what I say is sometimes when I'm looking at some charts, if we're already at an extended situation and I've got a longer term trend line with prices piercing up, especially an inclining trend line, like let's just say, I mean, theoretically, let's just say price was coming up and then this was the poke above with an extension, well, then likely that's telling me it's overbought. It's now busting through a resistance trend line. That's likely going to have price pull back in. It doesn't guarantee it, but you can almost anticipate some of those happening if you have good resistance trend lines, especially longer term ones drawn on your chart. That can help signify and get you ready for a potential bull trap scenario. But it has to be overbought to even anticipate that. Otherwise, we've got to just go back to technical analysis and manage the fluctuations when we see them.
Cool. We have about 9 minutes left, and we're in these two trades.
Yep. It did get filled on that next ad too.
What's your new average?
Yes. So it looks like I was filled at the 4,000 order history. Here it is. There you go. $4,347.45 was filled. $4,347.45. You can see prices above that at the current moment, but now we average is $4,326, 43.26 and 22 cents.
All right.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah, just because we got 8 minutes left, I just want to get an update on the trades.
8 minutes. That is,
I know it's moving quick, huh?
Right. That's okay.
And how's your trade looking, Ben?
We're out of the money. $56, $55 out of the money on ZORA. It's not a substantial move, 2% of the money. So I've got this beautiful upsloping trend line right here that price is respected quite nicely. So I do anticipate, so this is the first hit, second hit, third hit, fourth hit. It looked as if it was going to break down. So the next time it hits, it's likely to bust through. Here's our average price. And so I'm actually looking for a break of this upsloping trend line and to move down to 13,503. 13,503. Right here. So it shows a little bit different in Blofin than it does here, but you got this low pivot. So instead of looking for this, I'm actually going to look for a price just right here. See all these low pivots in here? Once we get a break, that'll be your next support level on ZORA. And then I do have, like I said, an ad level at 15,007. That price action looks to maybe getting up to that level. I will double the position. Again, it'll be another 1/3 position. So here's the plan on this, right? So if we get filled at 15,007, then if it pulls back, I am looking to take half off the table and then look for, I still think we should look for that low pivot area. It'll mean that our dollar cost average is a little bit higher, which is great because then when it finally flushes out, we can take another 2% because at that point we'll be about 4% of the money, get to our break even, will be 2% higher, which will be nice. So that's what I'm looking to do. And then as a stop out, if it does get above our ad level on a 15-minute closing basis, I am going to stop out of this trade just because I don't want it to get too far away. Something like this, it's up 35% on the day. it could have a continuation of buyers in here, which would then propel it even higher. I think eventually it's going to roll over, but I don't know if, right now it's up 33%. I don't know if it's going to go to 50% higher. So we're going to protect ourselves. Again, that stop out would be a close above our second or our add position on a 15-minute closing basis. And we'll stop out. That's my current plan.
Cool.
All right.
I like it. All right. And for my plan for Ethereum, guys, what I've done, I've gone ahead and entered a take profit level at 43.17 and 18 cents. 43.17 and 18 cents. Again, we're not going to have too much time left here on the show. I do think Ethereum does pull back a little bit more. I think basically you could get, and here, let me flip. Yep, there we go. I think you could get a pullback down on Ethereum back to retest this declining trend line, 43.15. Depending upon the timing of which it takes to get there, I think you could see a pullback down here to this declining trend line. And that's taken from a pivot high at 12:10 in the morning on August 11th over to this next pivot at 10:30 on August 11th, 10:30 in the morning. So both of those pivots on the 10-minute time frame of Ethereum. I think you got a good shot at getting down near the low 4,300s on Ethereum. Now on the other side, so say if we go up, I will go ahead, stop out of the position at $4,390 Pierce. All right, guys. So $4,390 Pierce. That will be right there. Oop, pardon me. All right, as far as stopping out, that'll be my stop loss area. All right. But the take profits will be down here at 43.17 and 18 cents.
And those of you guys who are nervous about this trade, because we're not going to be on necessarily with you guys live, we are 0.5% of the money right now currently on ZORA USDT. So, you could just stop out and take a minimal loss on this trade. But those of you guys who want to hang out, let's do this, right?
Yeah. I think Ethereum's got a good shot of coming in further too. I'm just taking a very conservative exit. But I think it's got a really good shot at coming in a lot more. Ethereum's had a great move this weekend. Time for it to cool off a little bit before it makes its next move.
That's right. Lawton, do we have any questions? We have about 3 more minutes.
We have a decent amount of questions, but
okay.
I mean, I know you guys were focused on your trades. Okay, let me pick one. AYB says, what about a swing trade for ENA? I was following this since $2.20, but somehow I missed it.
All right, let's take a look. Wait, I'm ENA? $2.
$2.20.
I don't.
They said I was watching it since then, but somehow I missed it.
Okay,
I've only got it at 81 cents.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, we can just move on to another question.
All right.
Corey says, I'm very interested in Matic. Looks like there's a massive wedge in the daily going back to December of 2021. Where's a good entry?
On Polygon networks. So you can use Matic or you can use Polygon. So POLUSD. They both trade pretty similarly, as you can see. Here are my levels on Polygon. Matic, same thing. So my entry would be this down sloping trend line right here, or if we can get a break of this pivot high right here at 26.47. And again, my entry level actually for the swing trade service that I actually have this 1693 is my entry. You notice it's got a lot of support at 1906, but I want a bigger pullback. And so I would be entering this. And you've also got this beautiful down sloping trend line that it broke out of. It hasn't retested. So if it retests that, then that is what I'm looking to go long on. So that's just what I see in the charts. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I plan on doing. And so, if you guys want to follow me, that's what you do. Or again, if it starts breaking above this 2643 level, Then you have 2683. Once you break out of 2779, then upside to 3039. Lots of lines on my charts.
I
All
love it.
right.
Awesome. All right, guys. If you guys got any questions, let us know now. Otherwise, we're about to hop off in just a few minutes.
Actually,
We're
it is
gonna hop
time.
off right now. Actually,
That's
go.
right.
yeah. All right,
All right,
guys. Well,
thanks,
thank you
guys.
so much for watching. You guys know the plans from Drew and Ben for their specific trades. Hopefully, these works out in your favor. But even if they don't, congratulations on your win earlier from Drew. We've been on a bit of a dry streak, but we're picking up now 3 trades in a 45-minute session. Can't complain about that.
That's right.
All right. Well,
That's
anyways,
what we're here
guys,
for.
yeah, thank you again so much to Blofin for sponsoring us. Have a great rest of your day, guys, and we'll see you next week.
Make sure to like and subscribe.
Yep.
Ring
like
that
and
bell to get
subscribe.
notifications. So
Yep.
that way you guys can be here live with us every single Monday at 11:30 a.m. And hopefully we can start stacking these trades.
I love
Yep,
it.
absolutely.
All right, guys. Look forward to seeing you guys next time. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.